Welcome back to another Color Me Purple review. Today we are reviewing The Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 15, Episode 6, Rap Sheets and Old Beefs. Y'all, that sounds a little spicy to me. Let's get into it. As I thought, y'all, leave it up to them to do a recap of Kandi and Marlo's friendship with a specific focus on their beefs, honey. Let's get into it. We start first in 2011 with a recap. They remind us that Kandi asked Marlo, how did she get her money game up? And Marlo responds, God, baby, God is providing this paper for me. She didn't say all that. She just said God, y'all. But I just wanted to let y'all know what she meant. But Kandi quickly clarifies and says, I think she had a sugar daddy who was probably paying all her bills. Oh, shots fired. We jump to 2016, y'all, where they remind us that Marlo asked Kandi in a public forum at a table full of people in a restaurant and asked her if she's a lesbian. I think we remember the drama that ensued from that, y'all. It rode all the way into the reunion, you know, where she was kissing on Portia and all that extra. We jump to 2018, where Marlo shades Kandi again at a lunch or restaurant setting, telling her that she'll be her personal shopper, likely talking about her wardrobe, honey. We speed into 2019 when Marlo gets custody of her nephews because of the situation with her sister, and they display Kandi showing some kind of shock that Marlo would even have children in her custody. 2020, they show us some unseen footage that sort of keys into the current drama that's going on about Marlo's nephew getting shot and killed. And as we know, he was an employee at Kandi's restaurant. The past few episodes, Marlo has been saying that Kandi has not reached out to her, or she did not reach out to her and make any type of connection when that occurred. And in fact, she said that Kandi was acting like she didn't know that her nephew had passed away. So in this previously unseen footage, they cut to Marlo coming to Kandi's house the very next day following some text message. Y'all read these with me. August 13, 2020, Marlo texts Kandi, Kandi Yams, did you have a guy named Quentin McNeil working for you at Old Lady Gang? Kandi responds, I can't remember. I will check. Marlo, please do. Kandi, yes, but he doesn't work there anymore. Marlo responds and says, that was my nephew. He got killed last night. Kandi responds and says, damn, I'm sorry to hear that. The visuals roll over to the very next day where Marlo comes to Kandi's household and she's hugging up on her family. Apparently, Kandi recently had a party saying congrats on a graduation for 2020, maybe for her daughter. And as you know, guys, this was during social distancing and all of that COVID shara that was going on. They share a clip of Kandi saying that although people always want to define Marlo as being shallow, she believes that she's very kind-hearted, thoughtful, and overall a really sweet person. Child, I don't remember the words being said, but maybe once upon a time. So the recap shows Marlo telling Kandi and her daughter Riley that her nephew was killed at his apartment. As soon as she starts crying, Kandi gets up and goes over and gives her a hug. She embraces her. Everything that Marlo said did not happen. But anyway, they also show a clip of Kandi saying that this must be a very hard time for Marlo because she knows that Marlo considers her nephew's cousins as very close family, almost as if they are her own children. They cut to 2021 where Marlo is popping up on Kandi during some kind of Halloween shoot. And Marlo tells Kandi, thank you. You were the only one that sent any cash app or any acknowledgement for the kids' graduation, but I would appreciate a little more hands-on from you. Y'all, lots happened in 2021. They remind us Marlo called Kandi a hoe because she felt like she was fucking everyone. Kandi in another scene is yelling that I bend over backwards for you, and in a different scene, you a lying ass bitch. In her reminding Marlo that, bitch, I am worldwide. Get it together, hoe. She ain't say that last piece, but y'all remember what she said. On to 2022, they remind us where they left off, where they were talking about Marlo being a criminal. And they quickly jump into the present day situations. Let's get into it. We jump to Bar Vegan, where Marlo is meeting with her manager and friend, Justin, as well as Ty, who is also a manager and friend. Marlo shares that Justin and Ty are like her best friends. They are her mini village. Ever since she's gained custody of her nephews, they have really provided her a lot of support. Ty shares that she's thinking of putting out an ad, a dating ad for Marlo. And Marlo's like, her ideal guy, of course, would make her smile. She hasn't had anyone to make her feel good in a long time. Marlo says she's a little nervous about dating, but I like what Ty said, that dating sort of is adult time away from your children or your personal life. So get out there and have some fun, y'all. Let me know in the comments how y'all feel about that, where you are in your dating life, because I just want to hear where y'all at. I just want to be in y'all business. But let's continue. Marlo shares that Courtney has invited all the girls to an upcoming gathering. Courtney sends a text message saying, "Hey ladies, in keeping with the positive energy and good vibes we left Birmingham with, I would love to invite you to join me tomorrow evening at Beat the Bomb. My team is planning fun team building evening for us. There will be cocktails, food, and a good ass time. Bring your beautiful energy and let's have some fun. Kisses and all that other extra shit." Marlo shares that she's praying that everything goes well at this event. They show a clip of what happened apparently 2 weeks ago when the ladies went to Kenya's event, y'all. And she's, of course, feeling like Mayetta and Kenya were talking a lot of shit, ganging up on her and all that. Marlo reminds us of her current beef with Kandi, citing a situation where Drew asked Kandi to comment on the recent incident that occurred at her restaurant. And, of course, Kandi sort of shut down and said, "I don't want to talk about it. That has nothing to do with anything." Marlo's like, why did Drew feel like she had to chop and splice and choose her words for Kandi? And, sort of commenting that she feels like Kandi makes everybody feel like they got to walk on eggshells or fire or whatever the hell else you feel gonna cut you up real nice. Marlo says that later on, and as we remember, she confronted Drew about splicing her words, and that's when they got into that little quick altercation where Marlo kind of blocked out what she kind of acknowledges. She don't even know why she started yelling, "My nephew is dead, my nephew is dead." She says that it had everything to do with her feeling like she was ignored during that time when her nephew Quentin was killed, and they cut to a clip showing Marlo's sister crying and them talking to Candace, letting her know that they felt some kind of way about Kandi not doing more to contribute to the funeral or to speak up against her nephew's murder. Y'all, how y'all feel about that? Should Kandi have done a little bit more when it sounds as though he was a previous employee of the restaurant when he was killed at his apartment? I just know they're going to touch on the clips that they showed us in that rewind at the start of the show, that Kandi did embrace her at her household, but we just not getting everything from Marlo. I don't think she remember that situation. You know what I mean? Child, Ty doing a lot of shit talking at this table, baby. When Kandi see these tapes play back, honey, I'm sure she's going to have some words for you now. Marlo shares that because her friendship at the time with Kandi had been about 10 years old, she felt like Kandi should have called her sister and just been a little bit more OD about showing how much she cared for her and her family at that time. Ty shares that she felt like Kandi should have at least sent a card because the gentleman was a previous employee of hers. They show a clip of Marlo saying that when she talked to Kandi about the situation, that Kandi skipped over it and made her feel like it was irrelevant. Y'all, that's not what we seen. That ain't what we seen in that clips they shared with us at the start of this. She tells Justin and Ty that she never had a full conversation with Kandi about the situation at all. They cut to Sonia and her family, who are sitting in the kitchen. She's with her sister and her mom, who are both assistants, as you know, to her businesses. And I guess her really as a brand. Sonia shares that she's gotten recent endorsement from a big brand online retail company that would like to feature some of her products. She makes a slight comment to her sister about she doesn't know if she's going to have the support to engage in this. And they quickly cut to remind us that 2 weeks ago, she was letting her family know that it might be time for y'all to skedaddle. Me and my man want to walk naked around this crib, and it can't happen while it's just too many people in this house. Okay? And we know, like Sonia continues to suggest, that her sister was a little upset about those comments and the fact that she's asking them to leave. Sonia's sister Shay shares that she was shocked when her husband Ross suggested that he wants to have the space back to them because she felt like the setup sort of works best for Sonia and her husband in that we basically here to support y'all. We work for y'all. So why would y'all want us to leave the space, But again, Shay, I'm going to remind you that some people like to walk around their house naked. Y'all let me know in the comments. Do you like to walk around your house naked? Do you like to be able to look out the window with your titties or your balls hanging out? But anyway, Sonia does agree with her sister that because of the movement that's required for her and her business, one day she might be in LA, another day she might be in Miami, New York, or somewhere else. It works well for the current setup because she can trust that her son is at home being cared for, being loved on by his aunt, his uncle, and his cousins, you know. She says that she doesn't think that her husband Ross is thinking about all of the logistics that would have to change or be adjusted if her family does move out. And she makes the comment, and her sister kind of chimes in, that Ross is never damn here anyway. You know, he's always leaving. And she says that Ross has missed 4 cycles of their pregnancy attempts that they're currently trying to do. Sonia says that she's willing to talk to Ross, but then her mom and her sister quickly chime in and say, baby, we leaving regardless. You ain't just going to attempt to kick us out and try to take us back. Her sister shares that, baby, when we do leave, there's going to be a gaping hole in this household. Sonia gives her a little laugh by walking away when she asks her to reach for something for her in the cabinet. So we cut to Kenya, who's meeting with her friend Akila to meet at a location that's being renovated for Kenya More Haircut. Kenya More Haircut. Kenya goes ahead and gives us a little twirl, y'all. She twirling for the girls. Kenya shares that she wants her guests at the Kenya More Hair Spot to experience total luxury from top to bottom, creating a beautiful ambiance and experience. And that this is going to be her legacy for Brooklyn. They're going to have valet in the front, y'all. And she's hoping that when you walk in, you feel like you've walked into a grand spa or maybe even heaven. Her words, not mine. Akila asks Kenya how is she going to be able to spend all the time focusing on the decor and the design of the location if she's currently trying to spend time dating. And you know she's a mother, so you know you can only stretch your time so much, y'all. As you remember, currently this season, Kenya is dating Roy, or Mr. KMC, and she says that because he's always on the go, always out of town, out of state, out the country, that it makes it difficult for her to continue a relationship with him. She reminds us that Mark was a long-distance relationship, and she married him in 7 months. I don't know, baby. Long distance with no coming together, no travel, no plans to do so. You just signed up for a hectic-ass situation. Kenya starts to detail for Akila the events that happened 2 weeks ago when Marlo was kicking down her door, saying that Marlo attacked her child in doing so because Brooklyn woke up screaming, saying, Mommy, what's going on? I'm scared. She shares that Marlo makes things up and that she's always wanting to be the victim regardless of who's at fault. Child, Kenya said the only way Marlo can get back into her good graces is to renegotiate her deal with the devil, and continues to tell Akila that Marlo went to jail after slashing a girl's face. Yikes. Akila said, baby, that's too much tea for me. And they cut over to Buckhead Avenue, where we meet Sheree and her daughter Kaylee in their living room space. They are shortly joined by Sheree's 3-year-old grandson, Mecca, her son, and his girlfriend. She shares that she found out that Cairo, her son, was bringing a baby into the world when his girlfriend was about 4 months pregnant already, and that she didn't have enough time to prepare for the thought of being a grandma, I think, but she said in preparation for the baby. She is looking gorgeous holding her grandson, and of course it's like riding a bike. She's doing it again, mothering to this beautiful baby. She shares with her son's girlfriend that she never had it in her 3 pregnancies that her father would be around the child while they were being raised. The girlfriend shared that Cairo, Sheree's son, is very attentive and he makes sure to be present whenever she or the baby needs anything. Mecca is a beautiful baby girl. Sheree and the family share a quick moment where they are doing a ceramic handprint of the baby's hand to make a beautiful ornament. Sheree shares an emotional moment with us where she says that even though she thought Cairo was not going to be ready for parenthood, that his action shows that he really is a great dad as well. Looks like they had a little trouble completing the assignment, y'all. But anyway, we cut to Drew and Ralph at their home. Ralph has a basketball coach out there teaching his sons a few tips and tricks. Drew, of course, just doing a little too damn much. She shares that Ralph has had eye surgery, throat surgery, and some dingling surgery, y'all. Yikes. He looked a little uncomfortable with that news. Drew starts to tell Ralph about her reservations about Candace's upcoming party because her and Marlo aren't getting along. She details that, he had a quick beef because she was trying to get Kandi to tell her about the shooting that occurred at her restaurant. Drew, like the rest of us, looks at her a little crazy when she says because she's from Chicago, she didn't want to use the word shot or shooting when she was referring to the incident, which of course is pretty much why Marlo is upset with her at the moment. Drew shares that she just wants Marlo to jump up off of her at the moment, and that now she finally understands Kenya and her frustrations with Marlo as well. Child, Drew said that because she from Chicago, if you touch me, I'm gonna touch you back. Child, not Ralph talking about you ain't gonna beat Marlo. Ralph, honey, you need to support your wife when she's saying that she gonna beat somebody's ass. Child, let her talk her shit. But baby, Ralph was very clear indeed. You ain't gonna beat Marlo, baby. Anyways, y'all, we cut to Kenya, who's meeting with her architect, who's displaying these beautiful digital representations of what the project she is working on is currently being formulated to look like. Y'all take a quick look. It is looking pretty snazzy. It looked like it's going to be a very sweet, comforting space. So that clip was short-lived. We jumped through a few clips showing one Sheree meeting with a girlfriend, asking her about what's going on with your love life, girl. And then it jumps to Marlo and her nephew having a beautiful caressing moment. And now we have arrived to Kandi's home. She is currently folding laundry and Todd is working on his script. Kandi shares with Todd that the girl that she don't like, Candace, has invited everyone to a team building event and she was not planning on going, but Monietta recently called her and persuaded her to go on and come with her. Y'all know Monietta, as she has shared before, she's not comfortable with them people just yet and don't want to be left alone. Y'all, she is not doing laundry. She is actually picking an outfit for this event. Kandi gets on a call with Kenya, who's currently having a birthday party for Brooklyn. She's dressed as the Little Mermaid with some red locks. Kandi asks her if she is going to Courtney's party or event. And Kenya shares that she's planning on doing so. They're just going to be covering up their hair if they're going to be involved in some paint and splatter. But Kenya continues to detail the fact that her, Sheree, and Drew recently got together, and Drew was telling them details about the altercation that previously happened with Marlo, where Marlo made reference that Kandi had no consideration for the fact that her nephew was lost and he was an employee at her restaurant. Kandi shares and looks very frustrated that she don't even understand where Marlo is coming from because the young man was not a employee at her restaurant at the time. He was previously employed. And as we saw in the previous cuts, y'all, she had invited Marlo to her house the next day. Kenya shares that she heard that Marlo was saying that some kind of way the person who shot her nephew was employed at Kandi's restaurant. Kandi said, "Never have I ever heard that." She ends the call and lets Todd know that she is very upset about that conversation and quickly calls Marlo a lying bitch. Todd says he thinks that Marlo just wants some attention. Y'all, we jump over to Candace's Beat the Bomb event. They show us the ladies arriving to the location. We meet Drew and Candace at the table, where Drew begins by telling Candace that she's thankful that she planned the event and that it was a smart move in trying to repair the relationship within the group. I just want to quickly say, child, we don't know Candace like that. But anyway, let's continue. Marlo arrives and shares a dry as, "Hey, Drew," in Drew's direction. And Drew, of course, hit her back with just a head nod without a verbal response. Drew tells Candace that the last time she saw Marlo, they were having that confrontation. Shortly thereafter, Monietta arrives looking like cotton candy. As the ladies begin to reminisce on the kumbaya moment they had on their last trip, Sheree arrives to the table and begins greeting everyone. Sonia arrives shortly thereafter and does the same. Candace asks Sheree about how Martell is doing, and Marlo interrupts and says, "Y'all, I have an announcement. Sheree is pregnant." They all giggle, but y'all, once again, confirmation that Sheree is living in Pound Town with Mr. Martell Holt. They show Kenya arriving to the location, and then shortly Kandi. As soon as Kandi arrives, I guess because of the look on her face, Sonia says, "Kandi, are you okay?" And Kandi quickly responds, no. and walks away. Continuing to greet the rest of the ladies, they share a clip of Drew and Sonia saying that as soon as Kandi walked in, you can literally feel the energy drain from the table and the mood change. Child, Kandi came in there about her shits, okay? Candace makes the comment, good vibes only, y'all. And Kandi says, not today, to Kenya. After Candace gets up from the table to go check on their event, Kandi wastes no time asking Marlo about the recent statements that were made. Asking, so what is this I hear about you and your cousin? Marlo asked if she, her, and Drew can go ahead and talk to the side because it was the three of them that were involved. Kandi agrees, so the lady proceeds to get up to go talk somewhere else. Marlo starts off by asking Kandi what exactly she heard, and Kandi details a few points, but then Marlo continues to try to clarify and says, well, this actually started from the fact that when Drew asked about the incident, that she felt some kind of way about her mincing the words and being selective on how she produced or discussed the situation. She said that anytime that they were discussing her arrest, her charges, they did not mince any words. They didn't call it an incident. They were very detailed in a stabbing, a cutting, very gruesome in how they described any incidents relative to her. She then goes and says that she remembers that when she reached out to Kandi, that Kandi sort of dismissed her. And of course, Kandi was getting riled up. Like, why would I dismiss you? I invited you to my home after you texted me about the killing. Y'all, we read that text at the beginning of the episode of this review. And she wanted to address the fact that Marlo is accusing her of being very disconnected. And she's saying, no, bitch, you want to attach your nephew's killing to me. And it has nothing to do with me. Y'all know the conversation started to get hot and heated. And Drew's like, can I talk? And Marlo's like, no, hush, baby, you don't need to talk. Don't say nothing. Monietta also tries to come over to try to pacify the situation. And Kandi asks her to please back up. Monietta walks away a little bruised back to the table, and Sheree says she thinks that they need to be able to talk alone right now to resolve the situation. She even says, Monietta, oh my God. Everybody wants to be a hero. Scene cuts back to Kandi and Marlo, where Kandi is jumping down Marlo's throat because Marlo is detailing that the guy who killed her nephew, he met her at Kandi's restaurant. Y'all, yes, it's starting to sound like Marlo is just trying any kind of way to attach Kandi to this situation. First, it's about not getting flowers. Now you telling me the guy that murdered your nephew, he met him at her restaurant. So y'all already know Kandi started to pop off, okay? I don't have a clue about who he met, who he knew at my restaurant. You know what I mean? And Marlo is detailing, girl, he had Christmas party pictures. He had pictures with you. But y'all, come on. As Kandi being as big as she is, even if you worked at her restaurant, when you see her, you probably might ask for a photo, even though y'all don't have any type of relationship. Now, the conversation got too spicy. Marlo like, you ain't got to tell me shit, bitch. And Kandi's like, bitch, I'm gonna tell you what the fuck I want to tell you. Their words, not mine. Kandi yells, if you had a problem with this, you should have said something about it long time ago instead of trying to bring it back now for some type of recognition. Kenya pops into the scene and pulls Kandi back, and you can hear Kandi saying, no, let me go. All the ladies quickly rush over to the location to try to pacify the situation, and Sheree's like, y'all, we at a restaurant and y'all making this big show. I agree. So Kandi is yelling like, if she pops off, y'all better not hold me back. And Marlo said, go ahead and cry, you crying ass bitch. And Kandi responds, the only reason I'm crying right now is because I can't choke your ass right now. Ooh, y'all, it done got a little hot and heated. As Kandi is being sort of escorted out by her friends, Marlo continues to taunt her. Oh, you can't confront Kandi. She's gonna cry. And y'all, in front of all these people, I think the patrons were a little shocked as well.
Confront Kandi. Her character is awful. Her character, you cannot confront her. Oh my. That's stupid.
Yikes. So Kandi heads out of the restaurant while Marlo remains with Candace and Sonia, as well as Sheree. They cut back to Kandi outside, and Candy's like, let's talk about how Marlo sliced up that woman's face. They also show the clip that we reviewed at the start of this episode when Kandi was describing Marlo as a very sweet, wonderful person, and that she should not be described by the crimes that she had previously committed. I can see the conflict here. Kandi shares with the ladies who are out there with her, Kenya, Drew, and Monyetta, that this situation happened back in 2020. Why are we circling back now? Kandi actually reads the text message that we displayed at the start of this episode and shares that Marlo was calling her Kandi Yamsy and shit while she was grieving her nephew. She even reads the text message following a few days after that message saying, you even invited me to join Cameo and was telling me how this was going to be easy lunch money for me. Ladies agree that Marlo she didn't sound too upset at the moment to them. Marlo shares that she felt like Drew kept calling her violent while they were arguing in the restaurant because they always are reminiscing on her prior charges. So now when she gets into an altercation, she puts her hands at the side of her hips, basically trying to show a less passive stance. But if y'all know anything about some man training or behavioral posturing, that's more of an aggressive, assertive stance. All right. So Marlo's entire frustration is because people are being nicer to Kandi when they refer to aggressive or gruesome events, and they let her have it when she is being addressed. Petty motherfucking boots, y'all. Sheree shares that she feels like Marlo can't even ask a question without someone throwing her past in her face. Y'all, Candace disappears from that group on the inside and shows up outside, and I'm surprised that she walks up to Kandi and says, I'm very sorry that happens. And as they see that the rest of the ladies are coming out, they decide to pull off and go. So Drew, who's outside with the rest of the ladies, she's telling them that this all started from Marlo feeling like she didn't, or she should have used the word shooting. And again, she repeats the fact that because she's from Chicago, she's not comfortable using those terms or the related terms because she feels like it perpetuates an aggressive and violent stance. Child, they show a few couple clips of the different ladies saying pretty much that this is a long ass reach, and I ain't never heard no shit like that. They keep cutting the clips of Sonia saying that she felt like Kandi was the aggressor and she didn't feel like Marlo needed to be continuously blamed for being the one that was the most aggressive in that argument. I gotta say, Sonia, how they clipping to you, I just know at the reunion can you coming from you, baby. Candace tries to get the ladies back into the event, and they're like, no, I think it's time for us to leave. And Drew continues to rave about the situation that just happened, protecting Kandi. And they show a clip of Sonia basically saying that Drew like a little dog, a little lap dog, barking behind Kandi and her team, and that she needs to find her ass and sit down somewhere. So eventually the ladies that are there agree to go back inside, but as they are looking for Monyetta and a few of the other ladies, they have actually left, and Marlo pretty much comments, well, because Kandi has left, they asked and took off too. But y'all, we already knew Monyetta wasn't coming if she ain't had Kandi, and for some reason Kandi seemed like she was a little shady towards Monyetta. Anyway, y'all, as Sonia continues to defend Marlo inside of the restaurant, saying that Marlo had her hands behind her back and that she felt like Drew, if she didn't want to perpetuate certain likenesses, that she shouldn't be calling Marlo aggressive when she was not showing aggression. Y'all, so Marlo done started crying and saying, I just wish they would leave me alone. Saying that I am human and I have feelings. Child, Marlo, you the one who is gassing all this shit up. But anyway, let's continue to the shit y'all talk about. So the four of the ladies decide to continue the event, beat the bomb, have a few shots, and go ahead and play the game that they were planning to play. Stay tuned to another Color Me Purple episode. Apparently on the next episode, they're going to delve into these girls participating in the bomb events, and we'll see what that turns out to be. Later.